Jennifer Lawrence. Il regista e sceneggiatore del film Darren Aronofsky. Javier Bardem. Michelle Pfeiffer. E alla mia sinistra, a cui ho rubato il posto, il produttore Scott Franklin.
And the design of the film was all about starting in a place of making it very, very natural and of the earth, because we were making this big allegory. And then slowly, as humanity invades, they start to bring in all the different types of colors and materials that are not natural to the planet.
Right there.
Hi, a question for Jennifer.
Mani basse, per favore.
You're used to really playing strong roles in your career, right here. Hi. You're used to really playing strong women in your career. What made you sign up for a role that kind of plays second fiddle to a man and his needs? And what was it like to play that for you?
It was a completely different character from anything I've ever done before, but it was also a completely different side of myself that I wasn't in touch with and I didn't really know yet. And we had a really rigorous rehearsal process for 3 months, and there was a part of me that Darren really helped me get in touch with. So it was difficult. It was the most I've ever had to pull out of myself before. Does that make any sense?
Makes sense.
As soon as I talk into a microphone, I get scared. I was doing interviews all day today, and fine, there's a microphone, and now I'm terrified.
It's also a room of people.
Yeah, yeah, that too.
There's a question here. Yeah.
Hello, I'm Martin Matifosyan from Armenia. I have 2 questions. First for Darren Aronofsky. About the house. Was it the paradise? And was the family with Ed Harris and Michelle Pfeiffer sent off the paradise? And my second question to my favorite, the best actress in the world, Jennifer Lawrence. I'm not going to ask you about something character creating or acting. It was brilliant for me. I'm just going to ask about your project with Amy Schumer. It is going to happen, and when it is going to happen. Thank you.
You want to go first?
It is going to happen.
And now the question was not about Amy Schumer, it was about something else. Oh yeah, yeah. Well look, it's interesting, I think we live, we all know it, right? It's an old idea that, something that happens in Beijing affects us in New York City, and it affects us in Italy. And you can have a beautiful place like Central Park in New York, and then you can have, Aleppo in Syria, and all done by human hand. And yet most of our fights, immediate fights, are with our neighbor over where the fence is going to go. So I kind of wanted to take the idea of that here we are on this one home, and to actually reduce it to a home, and to say, here is our home, because everyone can identify if someone comes over your house and throws a piece of garbage on your floor or burns a hole on your carpet with their cigarette, but they don't understand when they throw a piece of paper out on the street. So I like the idea of, and it was very inspired by Louis Buñuel's Exterminating Angel, who took, the social structure and stuck them all into a room and watched it as it sort of unwinded. So the idea was to sort of take that and sort of unfold human history. And I don't want to go too deep into the metaphors of all of them, because some of them are for you to discover, and you're very well down the path of figuring it out. But the working title on the film, which we used as a code name, because we didn't want the name to get out, we wanted to be secretive, was Day 6. So if you think about Day 6 in your history, in your Bibles, then you'll kind of figure out where the film starts.
I read today, they described my character as a gargoyle which I rather liked. At first I thought, oh, that's kind of insulting, and I thought, actually it's kind of good, because she is a bit of a gargoyle. She's kind of up there watching over everything, and I mean, I guess she is somewhat of an invader, but I also think that I look at it as she's actually Jennifer's guardian angel, and she actually shows up and awakens her in a way and becomes a mirror. And I think she comes in, she immediately says she immediately sees that there's trouble in paradise, a little older and a little wiser, and I think she's trying to help her, in my point of view.
But I mean, I just want to connect the woman who asked that question at the beginning to Jennifer. Yes, I mean, it really has to do with the allegory of the film and what we're trying to connect there to answer that question.
As Darren says, there are many readings in this movie, and you want to pick up the one that you like the most, or the one that means the most to you. And at the same time, yes, it's a relationship between a creator and his creation. Call it a writing piece, or a house, or the earth itself. It's open to all of those things, but I think it's very complex, everything that it's multi-layered, and that's the richness of this story, I think.
Well, the house doesn't start out with chipped and broken glass in it. I think the house represents Jennifer's home in many ways, and I think that's just where the character's comfortable in her own home.
I like to follow up with it.
As the producer, he was the only one, that's all he could afford me with props, was broken pieces.
And no shoes.
No shoes. I mean, just read the newspaper, you know, and really read the newspaper and try to feel what's going on in the newspaper. And, you know, it's, look, entertainment isn't, there's a lot of way to entertain people. I guarantee if you ask if all those people were engaged with the film, were they ever bored by the film? You know, I'm pretty sure what the answer would be. There's always going to be a level of taste about how far you can go with it. But this was, you know, it's funny because tonight at 3 a.m. is the full moon, which is perfect because I've been saying that this is my howl to the moon. So, you know, I think it's a very, very strong cocktail. And of course there are going to be people who are not going to want that type of an experience. And that's fine. It is, you know, and I've been very clear, making it clear that this is a roller coaster ride. Only come on it if you're really prepared to do the loop-to-loop a few times.
Buongiorno, Marina Vinci, freelance.
It's unfortunate because there's only like 8 or 10 people that clap there, but now I'm just joking.